Hi everyone, and welcome to blog 7 of the Tackle the Feelings for the Behaviour Parenting Approach. So today we're going to talk about reactions, and I want to say that your reactions as parents, or even as just anybody, your reactions can be your biggest allies. If you understand them, if you stop putting so much pressure on yourself and stop beating yourself up about your reactions. So to start with, I'll do a bit of an explanation of what a reaction is that I'm talking about. So in terms of parenting, sometimes I've heard quite a few stories along the way when kids get themselves in danger, for instance. They maybe want to run across the road, or they climbing on things that they're this close from falling or cracking their skull on the corner of the table. And it's that feeling, those feelings you have in that moment, that panic, that surge of adrenaline, that everything that comes up for you, how you react. And everybody's a bit different, but it comes from your own fear and your own fright at what could happen, being that adult, being able to understand consequences. So your reactions basically are like instincts. And in those moments, parents can lash out, or they can react in ways, go crazy, scream at someone, scream at the child, then cry. That panic, that fear that comes out of a real place of love and wanting to protect, comes out as a reaction that you have no control over, it feels like. And sometimes this is when the spanking argument gets a bit confusing, because I don't believe in spanking as a parenting approach. I don't believe in fear-based parenting at all. I don't think punishing emotional growth and things is the way forward. But spanking can happen. I get that. I'm not even going to try and say, oh no, in that moment you need to X, Y, and Z. Because the thing is, what I want to encourage is a relationship with your reactions, because they are your gut instincts. They are instinctual drives that I believe tend to that situation in the best possible way that you actually know how. So when you do say your child's run across the road and they go, you grab them and you shake them and don't you do that ever again, and you have a real go at them, and then you start to come down and everything's fine and you've hugged them, and the situation's calmed a bit, and suddenly you think, oh dear, they didn't know. Did I teach them that? What happened? Or, and then you start, oh my gosh, and then I should have handled it like this. I should have done this. I should have done that. And that guilt and that going over, and if, it's like an anxiety response, rumination, thoughts going round and round in your head. Then you start getting a bit tentative about how to handle situations, and you don't really know how to tackle it. Or perhaps, somebody else has reacted to your child and you don't know what to do about it. And so I want to tell you that reactions are okay. Trust them. If you do lash out, if something happens in the moment because you're afraid and you want to teach them something, safety, that's okay. And like mistakes and the things I was talking about in previous blogs, it's how you tend to it afterwards that counts. Don't make a confusing message. Don't go and apologize and cry and all that to your child, expecting them to meet your needs and make you feel better about what happened. And you wouldn't be doing that consciously, but that going to your child trying to apologize, that's putting that on them. It's confusing. So now this has happened. You've reacted. Something's happened that you had no control over. So maybe it's time you counteract that. Try put things in place so that it doesn't happen again. An example I can give you is a mum that I recently spoke to, and I said, start teaching safety now before anything more happens. Really nut out teaching safety. This particular instance was the child was going through a gate, and they live out in the sticks, and so it's dangerous. So this is a lesson that had to be taught, and it's really difficult to know how to manage that. You don't have oodles of time to really nut things out and spend time. So however you want to nip it in the bud, their safety, their actual physical safety and well-being comes first. Absolutely. absolutely first. So, however you do that, that's what you do. You keep them safe first. Then you tend to it. You teach them safety. You make sure they know what they did wrong. That is the number one rule with anything, is if you've reacted, if you've punished, if you've shouted at them, if you've enforced a rule, anything, make sure that they understand, because they don't always understand exactly what's happened. They understand, I'm bad, I've done something bad, but they might not understand that the behavior is bad. What you're punishing is the behavior. I always like to say that, like, you're not naughty, but what you did is very naughty. And I know you're a good girl or boy. So why do you want to go in X, Y, and Z? And have a chat about it, but making sure that they understand that it's the behavior, the running across the street, the biting their friends, the whatever it is, it's the behavior that you're cross with. The behavior is the bad thing, not them. So you can react however you need to in those moments. So I also wanted to throw in one little thing about when you have issues with your child, maybe medical issues, they're sick, or maybe disability in some area, or they need extra support in certain areas, and this is out of perhaps your realm of knowledge. You're not a doctor, or you're not a speech pathologist or anything like that. So you're dealing with professionals who know much more about this issue with your child than you do. This can be very disempowering to people. And I mean, I feel disempowered working with clients and working with medical professionals and trying to understand things. And it's really important, two things with that is trust your instincts. Even though you don't know the ins and outs of things, if something doesn't feel right, it's worth exploring. And it's always worth talking to the professional about. And number two, and probably should have gone at number one, is make sure that you always understand what is going on for your child. Make them explain it 150 times if that's what it takes. Research it, look it up, talk to other mums going through similar things. Make sure that you are fully aware and fully knowledgeable about what is going on for your child, so that you aren't spinning off your axle in confusion and can explain to them and help them to understand. And I'm very sorry if there's noise in the background. They're mowing the nature strip outside. So I'll wrap it up there then. But I just want you to say that if you get to know your reactions, if you get to trust those feelings that don't feel right, and this especially with people who are looking after your children, people who are in contact with your children one-on-one without you there, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, if someone's taking too much of an interest in your child and your warning signs are going off, don't ever ignore them. You have the sharpest instincts. You are the people, the parents or the primary guardians are the people who know that child. And you are tuned in. You're living with them every day. You are in the best position to help them in absolutely all situations, working with professionals. So don't sell yourself short. Don't beat yourself up. Start forming a relationship with your reactions. Start if you lash out, if you do something and you're not proud of it, that's okay. Absolutely okay. You can undo things, you can change things, you can put some things in place to help yourself for those situations next time. Explore it with curiosity and love. Don't beat yourselves up. You're doing a great job. All right. Thank you very much for listening today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye.